Hello, I'm the Archangel Daniel, and in this video we're going to continue discussing the first history. It's a brief overview. So we discussed how humankind was extinct and how Satan and his followers had been killed by myself. Then what happened was I found Planet One, the first Earth, to be an exciting and interesting place to visit. And so I took the knife and went back to Planet One. I left my robes in heaven because I didn't want to lose them. So traveling to Planet One naked. And I found one day, as I was hungry and thirsty, I discovered a fire caused by lightning again, and I found a dead animal that had been burnt. It was still fresh, and I peeled some of it off and ate it, and I found that the meat tasted good. It was from a type of rabbit. I then decided that I'd find a way to make food this way. So I had to explore how to discover a way to make fire. Once that was accomplished, sometime later, I found that I could make sparks using flint, and I could also rub sticks together in order to produce heat and friction, which produce fire. Flint was in fact discovered first, and is the handiest and quickest way to make a fire out of the two methods. With that discovered, I became a hunter and kept going to Planet One hunting. One day I came across a pig and I killed it. I had to use a rock in order to kill it. It took a long time, but we got there in the end. And I found that I cut the flesh and with the knife, and I found it cut easily. So the knife I later used for killing animals, and it was ideal. I cooked the pig over a fire and found that the meat was awesome. So I decided to catch more pigs, and I caught a couple of pigs and some piglets. There was 4 piglets and 2 adult pigs. I took them to the wormhole and threw them through into heaven. Then I grabbed a whole heap of wood, which I believed and calculated would be enough to cook a pig or 2 pigs. I threw it through the wormhole. I took my flint and my knife and jumped through the wormhole. I wound up landing on the sticks and injured myself. Now I looked around and saw there was chaos. The piglets had gone inside God and Mary's cave and were getting into everything. God was furious and told me, "What the hell, what on earth are these things doing in here? I created them. Why are they here, Daniel?" And I'd explain to God, "I want to show you something." So I tethered the pigs using vine and the piglets and told everyone to calm down. Everyone in heaven gathered round. There was hundreds of millions of angels. I then went to the cave where I lived and told everyone, "You have to come here." I dug a hole underneath the cave, but just near the entrance so that the smoke would go outside, most of it. I made a fire there, and then I got the pigs and I clubbed them to death. I didn't kill the piglets. Everyone looked at me. They've all vomited and cried. There was gnashing of teeth and protests. I said, "Wait, you have to wait." I then cooked 2 pigs over the fire, and then I offered God a piece of pork. He looked at me and said, "Are you for real?" You want me to eat this that you just killed? It is not our way. I said to God, you try it. This is delicious. God then looked at me and said, delicious? What does that mean? I said, it tastes really, really good. So God then tried the pork and his eyes widened. He couldn't believe it. Then he offered Mary some. She outright refused. And then with some more convincing, I managed to get Mary to have a piece of pork. Then we offered Jesus and his husband and wife some pork and their descendants. And my family, I also offered some pork. They said to me, you're expelled from the family for that behavior. I said, wait, come and try some of this. It took some convincing. There was a debate, but eventually one of my brothers tried some pork. And then he said, this is awesome. Everyone was blown away by the smell as well. It was incredible. After that, angels love pork. So this is wild boar that we're talking about. From there, things were discovered throughout the first history, and technology increased. Later, artificial intelligence was researched and developed. And then later, time travel was discovered. Then it was decided 100 billion years after humankind had perished to restart history. It was a big deal for heaven. The restarting of history involves time travel. It involves all life being placed in stasis pods. No harm comes to anyone inside a stasis chamber. Inside the chamber, the body and the soul are protected in a constant state and presence of time of 1 second. Telepathically, the person is not aware of the passage of time. And that is how it is for all creatures in between histories. When history was restarted, all the dimensions were moved back in time at another location in relation to where the first history's stack of dimensions were. And then God created a new dimension of heaven, a new dimension for the universe, and a new dimension for the storage dimension. And that is a brief overview of the first history. Since then, there have been 1,110 more histories, and it has always followed the same pattern. Before we restarted history, I appeared above all of humankind that was in the storage dimension. Through angel vision, everyone looked up and saw my face. I said to everyone, we've found a way to travel back in time. We're going to restart history, so you all get another chance at life. Then God spoke and said to humankind, yes, we're going to restart history, but you'll be tested. I will not let you into my house if you are evil or wicked. I am who I am. And that is a brief overview of the first history. I am the Archangel Daniel, and I'm from heaven.